This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
A shower or two this afternoon with the 4 o'clock news. I'm Michaela Kamarik.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
A woman's body has been found after a car was swept away in floodwaters in New South Wales Central West. The 28-year-old disappeared when the vehicle was washed off a causeway near Mudgee. The driver and 2 passengers escaped the vehicle and were able to make their way to safety. Meantime, Regional SA is dealing with flooding. Parts of the Riverland, Mid-North Clare Valley and Barossa have been affected. Owner of the Stockport Caravan Park, Gary, says the community is rallying around one another.
It's times of troubles like this is when the real Australia comes back out. You forget all the crap that goes on with your neighbours. You forget all the crap that goes on in the day. You just all want to help each other, and that's what I love about this country.
Labor is being accused of raising the white flag rather than being focused on growing the Australian economy. Tomorrow's budget is expected to show growth will shrink to 1.5% from the middle of next year. A potential slowdown in consumer spending and higher underemployment is being blamed, but Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor says the government should be coming up with solutions to the problem.
They said they were going to be a government that took responsibility. I'm not seeing taking responsibility at all. I'm seeing from the Treasurer, doom, gloom, forecasting, commentary, but responsibility? No.
There's been no further sign of a shark which took a chunk out of a surf ski at Seacliff yesterday. 19-year-old Nat Drummond was taking part in a race when the shark came up underneath him and bit a hole in his ski. Other paddlers came to his rescue. His father Murray says his son is shaken but otherwise okay.
All these guys surf lifesaving for 40 or 50 years and, they've said they've never seen a shark, and it just happened to my son. It's just one of those things. Look, I'm sure we'll wrap our arms around him and we'll nurture him over the next couple of weeks. He'll get back out there, I'm sure.
Green Senator Lydia Thorpe will refer herself to a powerful parliamentary body over a relationship with an ex-bikie boss. She dated the former Rebels member while serving on a law enforcement committee investigating outlaw motorcycle gangs. Senator Thorpe has admitted to an error of judgment and says she'll cooperate with an inquiry into the matter. The opposition is demanding clarity on plans to repatriate the wives and children of Islamic State fighters. Around 60 people are being brought back to Australia after spending almost 3 years in Syrian detention camps. But Shadow Immigration and Citizenship Minister Dan Tehan says there are a number of questions which remain unanswered.
When are the jihadi brides coming back? What will be put in place to make sure that Australians are kept safe? What will be the expense of bringing them back? Will they be arrested if they've broken the law when they return?
Now turning to FIVEAA Sport, Ross Lyons says a surprise phone call from AFL legend Lee Matthews encouraged him to seriously consider St Kilda's offer to return to the club to coach. The 55-year-old has signed a 4-year deal to take the reins 11 years after walking out on the club. Lyons described winning the club's first premiership since 1966 as an Everest that can't be climbed.
I'm really up for the fight. I feel like I'm ready to take the emotional risk to give everything, without any guarantee. And that guarantees you your best chance. And that's exactly the message to my players. So I certainly needed to be in that headspace, which then drives your work ethic and your desire.
And Australia's T20 squad is in Perth preparing for tomorrow night's crucial World Cup clash with Sri Lanka. Now checking FIVEAA traffic.
At Chana Pines, there's a crash North-East Road at South Para Road. Alberton, other collision there, Port Road just before Taplings Hill Road. At Mile End, urgent gas works. Henley Beach Road near South Road, it's down to 40 k's. And we're busy Grange Road at Findon Road. Look out for cameras, Allowinner Avenue, Mitchell Park and South Road at Edwardstown. Scottish singer-songwriter Lewis Capaldi returns to Australia in 2023 and Amex card members get access to pre-sale tickets from October 25. Search Amex Experiences. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on FIVEAA.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
A shower or two this afternoon. Tomorrow showers 19. Wednesday a shower or two 18. And Thursday a possible shower and 18. Right now it's 19 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
Watching from the beach as his son was attacked by a shark. Here in Adelaide, Dad's remarkable story. The shock number of South Australians needing help to put food on the table. See the tornado that hit a local town. New hope for anyone with chronic pain. and Smart Shopping, your guide to shaving hundreds off your weekly grocery bill. I'm Brenton Raglas. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
The FIVEAA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday to you. Welcome along to the show. Tim Ginniver is just days away from returning. The good news though, Stephen Rowie's here. And Rowie, what a weekend of sport. It was massive.
Yeah, looking forward to Timmy coming back. Yeah, thank you, Leith. Yeah, it was a soaking yesterday. Interesting weekend of sport. None more than Gina Reinhardt pulling her sponsorship from Netball Australia. I must say, it was no surprise. I did laugh initially. So we thought we'd get to the bottom of it with Catherine Harvey-Williams, the Players Association CEO. Explain that one. You know what's trending? Go woke, you go broke.
Yeah, here was 15 million and now no more.
No more.
Trying to fill
I
that
think
gap.
The big news today, although no surprise, Ross Lyon is St Kilda's second coming. 11 years after walking out under contract, he's going to take them back to the promised land.
It's a privilege to be back as senior coach of the St Kilda Football Club. Once this opportunity started to open up, I reflected on the special bonds and friendships I have with past players and staff that I've maintained since 2007 and my departure. I presented to the board and I got very emotional. When I left, I dropped an iron curtain and it sort of unleashed a lot of memories. There was a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but it sort of really validated how I felt about the club.
I love how he terps. I dropped an iron curtain, shed some tears. I've opened up my heart. Roscoe, 4 grand finals, no wins. Okay, they had a draw in that. St Kilda have never won a flag since 1966. You go back there, listen to these names. Alan Jeans was the coach. Daryl Baldock was captain.
Doc.
Ian Stewart won the BNF and Brownlow, and Cowboy Neal was the leading goal kicker.
And Barry Breen forever is immortalised as kicking the most important point in the club's history
of the club. So it's unfinished business for Roscoe.
I'm really up for the fight. I feel like I'm ready to take the emotional risk to give everything without any guarantee. And that guarantees you your best chance. And that's exactly the message to my players. So I certainly needed to be in that headspace, which then drives your work ethic and your desire and your willpower to deliver and work hard.
Yeah, no doubt he can coach.
Clearly a great coach.
Oh,
you
clearly.
don't fall into four grand finals.
Clearly you can. So good luck to him. It was interesting. St Kilda CEO Andrew Bassett, I quote, Ross emerged from our review as the primary target, quote, unquote. Now, on Brecky, I said he's a bit of a lunch cutter. Look, he's not a lunch cutter. You know, he would have felt for those coaches that he replaced at the time, but he was only worrying about his backyard because he thought he was better in the old pay packet. But there was no doubt Brett Ratton was still in the chair with a new 2-year deal. The ink hadn't even dried when Andrew Bassett would have spoken to one Ross Lyon.
And then you had
no mistake about that.
Simon Lethlean said in the presser, no, we don't have any favourites at this stage.
Come on. We didn't come down the last year.
We knew.
Crows have strengthened their footy department by signing 300-game, 3-time Tiger Premiership star Shane Edwards. Now, Titch isn't playing, but he'll be as good off the field. This kid is an absolute diamond as far as culture. He's going to lead the club's Indigenous development program. He's going to work in recruitment. Another quality appointment. We wish him well.
Well done. Jack Rewalt says of Shane Edwards, you think how good he was on field, 300-plus games, better bloke off field. So that's a great get for the culture of the Crows.
Absolute coup. So well done. Australia got smoked in their T20 versus New Zealand Saturday. We were simply awful.
We
were simply
bowled
awful.
horribly and then couldn't bat.
So let's park that because we're going to get a specialist on later. Last night, 90,000 plus at the MCG watched India beat Pakistan. That last 3 overs was riveting. They won it on the last ball.
What a game we've had. Nawaz, what have you got, Nawaz? Ashwin goes over, clears the infield. India win a famous win. You look at all the great wins over the years, and I think you'll find very, very few to compare with this one. What a champion. What an absolute champion Virat Kohli is.
Well, he is. The last 3 overs, you needed to see it to believe it. In actual fact, I came in this morning, sat down with Sam and watched the whole last 3 overs. There were wides, there were free hits, there were stumpings, there were run-outs, there were sixes, some of the best hits you'll ever see. 4s. Pakistan were favourite, then it was India. India needed 48 off 3 overs with 90,000 there. Then they needed 28 off 8, 16 off 6. Enter Virat Kohli. He started. They call him the King of India. India wouldn't care less if they didn't win another game now. They beat Pakistan. That's how bitter this rivalry is. And the star was, of course, the king, Virat Kohli.
Till today, I've always said Mohali was my best innings against Australia. I got 82 of 52. Today, I got 82 of 53. So they are exactly the same innings. But I think today I will count this one higher because of the magnitude of the game and what the situation was. It seemed impossible, but then Hardik kept pushing me in that partnership and we just went deep and it just happened.
You want to know what multiculturalism is? The biggest crowd this year was a Pakistan v India game at the MCG. The biggest neutral crowd of any sporting event
ever
in the history.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? It is unbelievable. And they had no chance. They had no right to win that India, but you thought because Virat was still there, there were a sneaky chance, but gee, you'd have to go well, and he did.
Is Virat Kohli bigger and better than Sachin Tendulkar? If you had to pick one to bat for your life.
No, not. He's on the door.
He's on the door. I'm still with Sachin. I had a look at it. I know the white ball cricket, I think Virat's played more. T20s weren't really around with Sachin. Sachin played 200 tests, 15,921 runs, 51 test hundreds, some of the best test hundreds you'll ever see, mind you. He averaged 54. Virat Kohli, well, he's 33, so he's not going to play 200, but he's played 102. Half the runs, or near, 8,000, 27 test tons. Well, that's just over half. And he averages 49. So if you're talking test cricket, he shouldn't carry his bat to the game, should he?
No.
But one day he loves them.
He's a star.
He is a star.
And he's a good antagonist too, so the Aussies don't like him, but everyone was cheering him last night.
Yeah.
That's just great to watch.
Yeah, no, good on him. How good were the 36ers beat Sydney in Sydney, 92-88? You know what? I wanted that win and we got it Friday night.
For the Adelaide 36ers, the talk happened during the week, but when it came time, they shot it like the Golden State Warriors. And they come to Kudos Bank Arena and beat Sydney 92-88. The 36ers are loaded, and they played that way tonight.
Well done to CJ. We'll speak to him tomorrow. So it's on the back of Sydney owner Paul Smith on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He just pre-game bagging the gizzens out of us. Oh, you're getting ahead of yourselves. Oh, you think you got the championship. Oh, if you missed him, here's what he said.
These Adelaide 36, mate, they dead set think they're the Golden State Warriors. They are talking themselves up so hard. Look, we're scared. Look, I can assure you we're frightened. We can't sleep. I can't sleep. I'm that nervous.
Smithy, how's that age, buddy?
Karma bus just drove over you beautifully.
Oh, I see what he was doing. Drum up the crowd. They got 8,000. Well done. The game, the next time they play at home will be huge. And just talking about that, Sixers take on the New Zealand Breakers this Friday. They're going to bill it as a Halloween, Phil. Tip off to 7 p.m. Get your tickets.
Oh, so come dress spooky.
Yeah. When is Halloween? Next Monday?
31st of October.
Yeah, something like that.
About a week away.
Do you celebrate that?
Absolutely.
Trick or treat?
Free lollies.
You got a little bit of Americanism in you, man.
Free lollies.
Just another one of those. Fear factor, Neil. We don't do anything at the front of our house.
We don't either. We just go knock on other people's and try and get free lollies. That's all it is.
Stay away. We're the Grinch. Yesterday, Adelaide United drew 2-2 with Sydney FC, and the ref and the VAR red-carded Hiroshi Ibusuki. It was just an absolute joke.
There's a massive tear in those boots. This is going to be a booking for Ibusuki. Oh, it's more than that. It's a straight red for the Reds, number 9. Wow. Well, it's been upheld and Adelaide are down to 10.
Was one of the worst.
Oh, VAR had a stinker.
In the history of the game. It was a joke. I'm with Carl Viet and Goody. Wrecking the game. They've got to get this right. I mean, that cost us probably 3 points right there, didn't it?
It's a bit like the other technology that has been brought in. It should just be for the howlers. It shouldn't be making these kind of decisions that are 50-50s or worse.
Yeah, I know. We're going to speak to Catherine Harvey-Williams after 4:30, but we have got lines available. I know on the weekend a lot of people wanted to have their chat about Netball Australia losing a $15 million sponsorship. Jenna Reinhardt and Hancock just said, you know what, you're out of here. what's been trending is, you go woke, you're broke. It's a little bit harsh on the young Indigenous lady that, is being caught up with that.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that wokeness. That would be absolutely uncalled for. It all started, and this is where we want to get Catherine Harvey-Williams on, it all started over Hancock's global warming. That's how it started. And I feel the young girl got a little bit pushed under the bus in the end.
Morphed into racism a bit.
Well, that's exactly right, because it was easier for them to fight that cause, because there's more sympathy for that than, I guess, global warming. And the young lady ended up, in the end, saying, I would have played in that strip. So someone's absolutely stuffed up here. And we'll get to the bottom of that with Catherine.
Think of a sport that's on life support, and all of a sudden your major sponsor pulls $15 million. How on earth are they going to find $15 million to cover that?
No, they're broke. They're $7 million in the debt. So if anyone supports the girls and the wokeness of all of that, we'd love to hear from you. We don't want to, get the impression at all that we're a little bit to the right. And maybe the other person I'd like to hear from, because we was putting this on our Twitter account, did anyone go to the King's Reserve at FIVEAA on the weekend? Because people are starting to post photos of the King's Reserve.
Thank you for sending those in.
And there are no people there.
No, not a lot.
So let's open the lines, have your say, $50 Powers voucher. Did you go to King's Reserve? Did you have a little walk around? You play on the swing set? Did you walk the dog? Was anybody there? Have you got proof with a photo? And is anybody supporting Netball Australia right now today?
Let's hear your thoughts. 8223 0000. You might even be there now. You might be around the sort of Brickworks area. You can be our eyewitness account. What's happening at the reserve right now? 8223 0000. As Rowie mentioned, $50 Powers voucher to give away. Your sporting highlights of the weekend. Lots on the show. Catherine Harvey-Williams, Mark Bickley, Jeff Lemon to cover the cricket, and our rookie elevation. Again, one of these names and voices that you hear a lot on 5AA. Today we get to meet her for the first time in the flesh, because Raylene from Modbury North will be here after 5:30. You love Raylene.
Raylene.
So Raylene will be here from 5:30 for our rookie elevation.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show. 5AA is inviting you into the studio every afternoon. That's right, you can now log into the 5AA live stream from 3 till 6 p.m. each weekday. To watch, simply head to the 5AA live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or at 5AA.com.au and see what everyone's talking about. The 5AA live stream, now each afternoon with Jade Robran, followed by the 5AA Sports Show.
Don't just send it.
Chris from ASIC Couriers is with us. Chris, you need more drivers.
Absolutely, Rowie. We need more drivers to maintain our high standard of perfect service. And due to new contracts starting, we need drivers urgently. So if you qualify and join our team now, we'll give you $1,500.
Wow! $1,500?
Yep, if you have a driver's license, you're already qualified. So get in touch with us. Visit asiccouriers.com.au. Conditions apply.
A shock absorber, CV joint, or maybe a bearing kit. It may seem like just a four-wheel-drive part, but open it up and you'll find so much more. Each terrain tamer four-wheel-drive part is the culmination of 50 years of experience. Every break, every lesson, every setback far from home strengthens everything we do. So when you break down miles from home and you drag out our number, you'll know you're in safe hands. That's the terrain tamer connection, and it comes free with every part.
I like this one from Rog. Calls available, Cafe de Villiers text. I had better not wish to sponsor any sporting clubs with my business because I once pulled the wings off a fly. Rog, that did tickle my fancy. Have you say, now, if your idea of a concreter is a bloke covered in concrete, got a dairy hanging out his gob, they call them fags, I don't think you can call them that anymore, swearing his head off, gee, you couldn't be further from the truth. With a company that we love here at AA, Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Shane and Amanda, the whole team at Adelaide Exposed Concrete, they're raising the bar like it's never been raised before. Their service, their price, their quality, their workmanship, their communication, everything they do is literally a work of art. Nobody works harder than Adelaide Exposed Concrete to give you that exceptional finish. The pride they take in their work is phenomenal. Whether it's a stunning exposed aggregate driveway, paths around the home, patio areas for your shed, get in touch with Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground all year round. Adelaide Exposed Concrete.com.au.
Sarah, I'm on bended knee and I'm asking, will you marry me?
Can I get back to you?
Don't you hate waiting for things? Well, at Bob Burns Blinds, you won't have to. We can have your new roller blinds measured and installed in just 10 days. We make our blinds right here in Adelaide, not interstate, so there's no delay. You'll love the quality too. Do it. Say yes to Bob Burns Blinds and have them installed in 10 days or less. That's a promise. bobburnsblinds.com.au.
I'm Kathy Nagel, Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Cancer diagnosis is a traumatic and emotional life event, but we are here to help. Western Hospital offers a wide range of cancer services to those in the western suburbs and beyond. We pride ourselves on assisting our community for the past 25 years in the fight against cancer within our friendly chemotherapy unit. Experienced nursing staff are the cornerstone when providing outstanding care. Visit westernhospital.com.au.
Hi, Susanna Toop here. 30 days. That's the average time a rental property stays vacant. But at Toop & Toop, we find tenants in half the time, saving landlords an average of $860 a year. Who are you trusting to look after your biggest investment? Toop.com.au.
Walker Crash Repairs. For easy insurance repairs on your caravan. Get it fixed right with Walker Crash Repairs.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Well, Timmy's not here, but returning very, very shortly, just days away in fact. You can have your say with Rowie, 8223 0000, or your calls. We'll get to those all thanks to the great team from Cafe de Villiers. First, let's check the traffic for your drive home. If you're buying a Mitsubishi or if you're getting your car service, head for the all-new Wavell Mitsubishi or Southern Mitsubishi.
At Elizabeth Vale, there's a breakdown, Main North Road just before John Rice Avenue. Got a lane blocked at the moment. China Ponds, a crash, North East Road at South Power Road, while at Alberton, another collision, Port Road just before Tapley's Hill Road. Busy at the moment, Churchill Road at Torrens Road, with cameras, Bedlington Road, Glonunga, and you'll find another one, Hallard Road at Stonyfell. Sick of business paperwork? Employment Hero streamlines HR admin so you can work easy. Sign up by October 26 for up to 3 months free. Search Employment Hero. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Yeah, have your say. Lines available. Cafe de Villiers Ticks has gone berserk. I said this to the Brekkie team on the back of Gina Reinhart pulling a sponsorship for the
Diamonds,
Netball Australia, the Diamonds, on the back of, people are calling it wokeness. It's probably a bit harsh than that, you know, when you have racism in there as well, or perceived racism. That was, 40, 50 or 60 years ago. A couple of things. Pembo had an article in the paper, and he wrote it really well. He said, you know, your father or grandfather's actions, and as unsavoury as those comments were, it's not hereditary.
No.
Now, has Gina come out and said, look, you know, I'm distancing myself from my father's comments.
Correct.
They were back in the 80s, and that's not how I practice or how I live. Does she have to?
I think if you're called out on it, you probably do. If it's on the public record, which...
She has said
Lang
countless
Hancock's
times that my company is different to how my dad ran it.
Correct.
And I don't share the same views as my father. So how many times does she need to say, how many times do I need to... I've got a checkered past with my grandparents and grandfathers.
That's right.
In the day.
No, just on the public record, put it out there, that's enough.
But that's what I'm saying, that we'd all be ashamed of. So I think it comes down to this. I spoke to the Brekkie team this morning, and I brought up a lad called Bashahuli. Played over 200 games for Richmond, over 14 seasons, a devout Muslim. He played in 3 premierships. In actual fact, if Dusty Martin wasn't in that game, he'd probably have 2 Norm Smiths.
He would.
That's how damn good he was. He was able to park his views, if you like, or his religious beliefs for his teammates, for his club, and the sponsors of the club. Now, he could have said, I'm not wearing a VB top or a West End top or whatever. Could have done all of that. But it's called respect, and respect is 2 ways.
Correct.
Reconciliation is 2 ways. It's both ways. So I figure if he can do that, why can't all of us?
Well, we saw Usman Khawaja, absolutely. We saw Usman Khawaja do the same thing where they celebrated with alcohol. Obviously, Usman's against alcohol, so he didn't want to be part of the celebrations when they were spraying each other with beer and champagne, etc. So Pat Cummins realised that and said, right, let's celebrate without the alcohol. We can do that. So you have to be careful from that point of view. You need to be sensitive to people's beliefs, but on the other hand, you also don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. A lot of text messages coming through. Adam says, because a one woke left-wing activist breakfast. Australian netball's now lost $15 million over something said in the 80s. This one from John.
Well, don't just gloss over that. That was a horrendous comment.
Brutal.
By Lang Hancock.
And totally unacceptable then as it is today, I would have thought.
Is.
John says the Reinhardt issue will have ramifications right across the country. Less funding for everyone who plays netball, including the less advantaged. That's a great point. This will trickle down to the lower. Romeo's driving past Kings Reserve at FIVEAA as we speak. The soccer goals are up, but no one's here. It isn't soccer nor football season.
Hello.
And this one says, sporting codes must be more proactive in seeking sponsorship that meet community expectations for positive environment and social impacts rather than simply opting for the highest bidder from companies with damaging social or environmental operandi, such as energy groups, etc. That's a good point. If you're going to believe in something, that's fine. So if you don't agree with what your sponsor's doing, then drop your sponsor. But put up with the fact that you've now lost $15 million and you need to find that somewhere else.
Can it be cake and eat it too?
You can still have your beliefs, but just know that with beliefs comes ramifications.
No, but that's why I brought up Bashahuli. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in the AFL industry that go against the grain of how a Muslim wants to live. Would you agree?
Absolutely. But what I would also say is don't stop your beliefs because someone sponsors you. Stand up for what you believe in, but just know that with that comes sort of ramifications as they go.
You still have a checkered past. Your privilege as a white man shows. Well, goodness me. Let's go down that path. Hello, Reno at Torrensville. Where are you?
Ollie, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Are you down at Kings Reserve?
I'm standing in the middle of Kings Reserve, overlooking the brickworks, overlooking Featherton Oval, the aquatic centre here. There's probably about 10 cars parked in front of the aquatic centre going in there now. There's one person walking across Kings Reserve as I am. There's 3 people playing soccer in front of the Featherton Community Centre. There's one person walking its dog. There's a disused playground area here that's been like this for about 12 years.
Yep.
And there's an abandoned skate park. The place is ridiculously underused. You know, like you said the other day, you drive past here. I live 300 metres down the road on Ashley Street.
Okay.
And on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, you'd be lucky if there's 10 people here. So I don't know what they're carrying on about. Let the place be built, repaired, up to scratch, and the people will have their open space here.
Oh, Reno, they'll love it. For what the Crows are going to put there, forget it's the Crows. A corporation is going to spend $80 million on your park. How much better is that going to be?
How many times I've wanted to take my little nephew to Featherton Oval to have a kick around, and it's locked up. You can't get into the Oval. The place will be open. Everything will be open.
Yep.
Of course it is.
Ready for everybody.
And your housing prices have gone up too, Reno, so it's a win-win.
Can we give Reno anything?
Sure.
$50 Powers voucher?
$50
Thanks,
voucher there. Reno, go and see Jamie and Sam at Powers. They'll look after you with those hard-to-find wine, beer and spirits. Catherine Harvey-Williams has put a hand up and said, I'll be the one to face the music. She will next, the CEO of the Australian Netball Players Association.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G. 5AA Breakfast.
The pub robbery this morning, that's the same group of Indigenous people who've been running around causing all sorts of mayhem. And, you know, I don't know why, when it comes to the way we describe people who have committed these offences, we talk about people being of Caucasian appearance. So let's just cut to the chase and call it for what it is.
Informing Adelaide.
It's not a question of vilifying any group, it's a question of identifying the suspect so that you can best apprehend them.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Hey Strikers fans, Peter Siddle here for what promises to be an action-packed BBL season. I can't wait to get back in the Strikers blue this summer, and there's no better sound than the roar of a full Adelaide Oval crowd as some poor batter's stumps go flying. Tickets are on sale now with early bird pricing set to end on Monday the 21st of November. Visit adelaidestrikers.com.au and I look forward to seeing you back at Adelaide Oval this summer.
Like shocks shooting through your body.
That's how some people describe their shingles pain. Shingles is caused by the reactivation of the chickenpox virus. While most people recover fully, up to 25% may experience long-term complications.
I had to cancel all my plans and struggled to work.
Up to 1 in 3 people risk developing shingles in their lifetime.
If you're 50 or over, don't let shingles affect your plans.
Talk to your doctor for more information. Individual symptoms may vary. Sponsored by GlaxoSmithKline Australia, Melbourne.
You want to shut out the wind and rain in winter, or the sun, flies and mozzies in summer, but you don't want to sacrifice your view? Then you need Phantom Screens. For protection from sun, wind and rain all year round, Phantom's SA-made outdoor motorised blinds can span up to 12 metres wide. They offer effortless automation, a blind that's there 1 minute and gone the next. From the hills to the coast and everywhere in between, choose Phantom Screens. Get inspired online at phantomscreens.com.au.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Last month we spoke about the best new laptop of 2022, HP's Envy X360. Well, it just got better. Harvey Norman has added a special new bonus. Not only do you get a 2-for-1 device that has a flip screen to make it more like a tablet, and fast, reliable computing with 16 gig of RAM and a 512 gig solid-state drive. On top of all these incredible specs, you'll also score a bonus $300 Harvey Norman gift card. The perfect excuse to grab some accessories or even treat yourself to a new coffee machine. All yours with a beautifully designed HP Envy, available now at Harvey Norman for only $1,999.
Check out this great offer at 5AA.com.au. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. A woman's body has been found after a car was swept away in floodwaters in New South Wales' Central West. Labor is planning to slash almost $4 billion on consultants, advertising and travel in tomorrow's federal budget. Green Senator Lydia Thorpe will refer herself to a powerful parliamentary body over a relationship with an ex-bikie boss, and Chris Fagan's return as Brisbane coach is imminent, with the board meeting tomorrow night set to reinstate him at the helm. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Elizabeth Vale, look out for a breakdown Main North Road just before John Rice Avenue. You've got a lane block there. Channel Pines, another crash. North East Road at South Power Road. While at Mile End, look out for urgent gas works. Henley Beach Road near South Road. It's down to 40 k's and the left-hand lane is close. Busy at the moment, Main North Road at Grand Junction Road with cameras Winston Avenue, Door Park and Diagonal Road at Glengarry. Hungry? Head to Oporto for the 5 for $5 chicken strips. 5 delicious crispy chicken strips with your choice of dipping sauce, just $5. Only at Oporto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Cloudy tonight, a low of 12. Showers tomorrow, 19. Currently it's 18 degrees. More news at 5 o'clock and As It Happens on 5AA.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Well, no Tim Geneva, he's returning in a couple of days. 27 minutes to 5. Rowie's here. Catherine Harvey-Williams to join us in just 1 second. 2 chances for you to win surprises too before 6 o'clock. Our mystery moment, $250 for the Burrows. And if you're a 36ers fan, be listening before 6 for your chance to win tickets.
Yeah, this story's a lose-lose, really. Hancock Prospecting's pulled its sponsorship. We know that from Netball Australia. Probably no surprise to most. Joining us is Australian Netball Players Association CEO, one of their absolute greats, Catherine Harvey-Williams. Catherine, welcome.
Nice to talk to you, Rowie. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. Can we really flush this out? Because it looks like it's gone sideways, and it went sideways pretty quickly.
Yes.
The public's blaming the players, and they're getting no sympathy. What happened? Talk us through who said what and when.
Yep. I will try and give you a snapshot, and I think it's really unfair on the players being blamed for this, because I'd like, you people better than anybody would realise that the players aren't silly. They understand the commercial realities of the game. You know, the misreporting initially was players turned their back on $15 million, refused to wear their logo. Now, that's complete nonsense. When they were told about Hancock Prospecting, it was just days out from them entering this international window. And Danelle Wallen raised her conscientious objection to Hancock. She was very upset about the partnership, and she was going to seek an exemption to not wear the logo because there are precedents in sport. Sonny Bill Williams, for example, and Usman Khawaja. Now, when the players heard of this, I was at the meeting, and they all stood up, and they've got a Sisters in Arms mantra, Diamonds have a really strong value set, and as you know, I was part of that group many, many years ago, I must say, but it hasn't diminished over time. And they said, look, Danelle, we don't want you running out for your debut series against England looking any different to what we do in the dress that we're wearing. We don't want you to be marginalised when this should be one of the proudest moments of your life. So we fed that back in, and a few days later, we actually had an agreement with Netball Australia, and that was the team would wear the Hancock logo against New Zealand in 4 games because Danelle wasn't part of that series. She was coming in for the next series against England, which is about to commence, and the agreement was that Danelle nor her teammates were required to wear the Hancock prospecting logo, and part of that agreement was once we get through the international window, which is not a time to talk through all these sensitive issues, we would wait till the international window's closed, come to the table, discuss all the issues with Danelle and the playing group and the Players Association, Netball Australia, Hancock and Netball Australia's First Nations Advisory Committee to sort through the issues and hopefully come to an agreement that all parties were satisfied with to move forward for the next few years, because it was just in the infancy of a 4-year deal. So that agreement was in play, and then not sure what happened after that, because a couple of hours before the first game, the players were told that they were wearing a dress without a logo. And that surprised them because they expected to be wearing it given that agreement that we had. Now, if you fast forward, a lot happened during that time, and it was made very clear to the players and to Danelle that no exemptions would be given for the England game thereafter, which was contrary to the agreement that we had made with Netball Australia. And as it rolled on, it got to the point where Danelle was simply asking for an exemption. So it came down in the end, Rowie, to one player, an Indigenous player, only the third in the history of the Diamonds, the first in almost a quarter of a century, asking for an exemption for 3 games and until we get to the point where the international window is over and we can come to the table and discuss further matters. That's all it came down to. And I would have thought, given there's precedent in other sports and commercial partners who've agreed to exemptions, that wasn't too much to ask. And at that point in time, the players would have been prepared to wear the logo just to get through this period of time.
Okay.
Now, just recently on Friday night, Danelle, it was too much for Danelle. And unfortunately, she bowed to the pressure and said, look, I'll just wear it. Now, one thing I need to make you aware of is Netball signed up to a declaration of commitment to do better in the First Nations space because, as you know, we don't have many Indigenous elite athletes in our system, unlike AFL. So we signed a commitment 2 years ago after we let Mai down with some issues that went on with the Indigenous player in our Super League. We signed up to this declaration. Now, the declaration, you can have a look at it, but it says things like create role models and create a culturally safe space, and players can speak up without fear of reprisal. Now, we've let Danelle down on all of those elements. She has stood up. She has walked the talk to that declaration of commitment, Stephen, and to not think that what she was doing was appropriate in a sport that has said we want to do better in this space is really poor on our behalf. And we compromised a player who was being very brave and simply standing up for something that she felt really hurt by. Now, as I said, she felt the pressure, and on Friday night, unfortunately, said that I'll wear it. And then it surprised everybody because we thought Hancock then would be happy with that, but it surprised everybody that they walked away the next day. So I'm not sure what happened between Friday night and Saturday lunchtime. But let me just finish off by saying, look, the investment was appreciated by Hancock. We were glad that they were interested in our sport to put money on the table, but we thought, especially in the end, to ask for an exemption for one player for 3 games was something that was fair and reasonable, and I'd like to think all commercial partners would think would be fair and reasonable.
So it was clearly poorly managed, Catherine. So whose fault is that? Is that Netball's Australia? Are you laying it at their feet?
I'm not going to blame anybody. The process has been really ordinary. There's no doubt about that. And unfortunately, it's the players, and particularly Danelle, who have been put under the spotlight. And one thing we learned from Gemma's situation is that everyone else around Indigenous player has to do the heavy lifting, not the Indigenous player herself. And we failed in this instance again. So it's something that we certainly need to sit down at the table and talk about to ensure that this doesn't happen to any other player in the future of our game.
It felt to me, and again, we're in the media, we're in the cheap seats, we read what we read. Social media is terrible, Catherine.
Yes,
and
it is.
and it's just, it's a rabbit warren you don't want to go down. But I felt, to me, it started with environmental issues and global warming with Hancock, and then for whatever reason it then became racist, and I felt from afar Danelle Wallam was the pawn in all of this. Can
I jump in, Stephen, because it wasn't environmental. That was just media commentary. It was not an environmental issue.
So that was never an issue. Done. All right.
Never an issue. Never an issue. It was very much Danelle standing up and being brave and being true to herself and her values, and saying, I've got a problem here. I've got a conscientious objection to this partner, and I'd like to seek an exemption. So, yes, as you said, there's lots of speculation in the media, and that was some incorrect commentary. Now, the one thing going forward when you say, look, you know, who's to blame? We won't point the finger, but one thing we do want to make sure happens in the future, and the players have been asking for some time now, is the consultation to occur. Now, if this discussion took place 2 months ago before the partnership was penned, we could have sorted through all these issues and determined what was a satisfactory position for everybody to ensure that the partnership could go ahead and everyone was satisfied with the direction it was taking.
Okay, well, it's a declaration of commitment to Indigenous brothers and sisters, and that is great. You're $7 million in debt. You're given $15 million.
$4 million. $4 million.
Okay. Well, you've drawn that down a bit. Might be some of Hancock's money. $15 million commitment to the elite programs. This is to the girls and the coaching. Doesn't filter down to the junior grades.
Correct. High performance.
I would have thought somebody on the board or somebody in the executive, and even from your perspective, Catherine, you're the CEO of Australian Netball Players Association. It would have been brought to the fore a lot sooner than a young lady on debut doing it in Danelle Wallam. So we've all failed her, including you, including the board. So did money talk and you know what walks?
But we didn't know it was Hancock prospecting until the day before it was announced. So I'm not sure. And then they, 2 days later, they went into camp, Stephen. So that is why we said this is not the time nor the place for a young Indigenous girl nor the players who are focusing on their international duties to enter into sensitive conversations. And this is just not something you brush off on a whim. This is some deep-seated hurt that really needed to be addressed, and at the time it was not appropriate to delve into that. Just highly inappropriate. And the commitment was made, Stephen, to do so at the end of the series. So I would have thought that a compromise by all parties, that was agreed to, by the way, was fair and reasonable. Please don't tell me, Stephen, that you think these players should throw out the values that are so important for them and not feel as though a compromise to get through to the next step was an appropriate way to approach this.
No, I do agree
with
with
a
that.
declaration of commitment in place.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get to the bottom of who jumped out of what, where, when and how, because...
Well, can I jump in there, Catherine, and ask you the question? Are you disappointed Shani Norder, former Diamonds player, the comments that she made sort of seemed to inflame this on day one?
Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you know, she has strong views on the environment. So, you know, Shani's entitled to post what she wants, and she's very passionate about making sure that netball stands up for their values, etc. So, you know, if Shani wants to run that narrative, that's completely up to her, and she's a very big supporter of the game and wants it to thrive. So, you know, this has certainly nothing to do with Shani.
But I wonder if that didn't help your cause, because it feels like almost that she's a voice for Netball Australia or for the Diamonds, even as a past player.
She should always speak her mind. But this is, you know, I'm just telling you what the story is. It's the First Nation issue and has been from the very outset. And we have failed Danelle Wallam. This is the first test of our declaration of commitment, and you don't dismiss that. You either have it or you rip it up. So that is in play because we committed to doing better. This is the first test of it, and we have failed. So we certainly need to go back and address it.
And that is sad. So Hancock Prospecting, you're a little surprised. There was a bit of a mediation where there was a terms of agreement, if you like, between all parties. So that's the players, that's your mob, that's also the Netball Australia and their CEOs and their board, and Hancock Prospecting. So there was an agreement. So who walked away from what and where? And it sounds like you're surprised with that.
It was just how it played out, Stephen, was that on Friday night, Danelle agreed to wear the uniform, as did all the players, right? That came, and so that at that point in time, everyone thought that Hancock Prospecting wouldn't, have any issues with them, the players wearing their logo against England. So what played out between then, when that was going to happen between then and Saturday lunchtime, roughly, I'm not sure.
Okay, can you understand then why Gina Reinhart would walk away from this deal?
I don't understand how an exemption wouldn't be given for one Indigenous athlete for 3 games.
But that's not on
Gina.
Understand. That wouldn't be on Gina. That'd be on Netball Australia, wouldn't it?
Well, who's making those decisions? That would be Netball Australia and Hancock discussed the sponsorship. So, I can't answer that question. But just from the surface, an exemption for one player, and there's precedent, as I said, so I'm not sure why the exemption wasn't given.
FIVEAA
That's something you have to ask them.
Okay, he's a devout Muslim. He didn't want to wear VB on the strip of the Australian jumper when they played, the cricket team, VB. So he played without that on there. So you're right, there are precedents, but I'm scratching my head as to see who's done what, because it sounds to me like you think, as the playing group, Australian Netball Players Association CEO, that this is on Gina Reinhart.
I'm not blaming anybody, Rowie. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just simply outlining where this landed and how it played out. I'm not going to point the finger. What I am going to say is that we need to do better and make sure that the consultation occurs at the appropriate time.
Would you do it again? Would the girls do it again?
I can't speak for them.
Well, you have to support them. You're representing them. So another sponsor lands.
I've got no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that the process would play out like that because they feel strongly about their teammate. She had a conscientious objection to a partnership, and the players stood by her with their sisters in arms mantra. And an agreement there was an agreement made only a few days after this rolled out, Stephen. So we had an agreement, and then I'm not sure, where it went from there.
Yeah.
Harbs, is that bridge burnt? Can someone from Netball Australia, can someone from the Players Association go and clear it up with Gina and co, or are you moving on?
We would love to. I'm not sure. I'm not privy to why it happened. I think Netball Australia may have been shocked as well. It just came quite suddenly. But look, if there was an opportunity to sit and try and work through it, no doubt. Yep. But Netball Australia they've done all the negotiations with Hancock, so. I'm not sure. As I said, I know they were surprised with the decision that was made on Saturday.
So the ramifications now, and I guess you're working through this, that's a lot of money to be coming out each year. So where will the money come from? Are you concerned about that? And will you have less funding towards the girls and your elite programs, Catherine?
No, the high performance budget, as I understand it, was done before this deal was in play. But we've got to get to work, Stephen. There are other sponsors out there. There are already other sponsors that are talking to lots of different parties. So there's interest because, there's an alignment of some sponsors with the values of the Diamond. There's no doubt about that. And then you've got to work out what other options are there to bring resources and money into the system. So everyone just has to go to work. The doors aren't shut everywhere. That's why you have people in commercial departments, etc., and an organisation that strategically plans for how can we do better in this space. So, I certainly don't think it's the end of the world. It's disappointing that it's not come to fruition, absolutely. But now we have to go to work and partner up and do what we can to make sure that we get other people on board who take an interest in our sport. It's a great sport.
Yeah, a tough one. We might have to put a call through to Netball Australia and get the other side to all of that. Catherine Harvey-Williams, thanks for your time. Disappointing day for the game.
One of the greats, one of the all-time greats. Difficult job now as the CEO of the Players Association. Catherine brings up some great points. A lot of text messages.
No, but what am I getting wrong here?
No,
so the three parties sit down.
Yep.
They agree to this. Young Danelle Wallam, I will wear it. She said I will wear it.
Correct.
So she's the one that's had to bend the most.
Yep. She's
it's
putting her
grievance.
morals
That's
and her
exactly
beliefs
right.
to us aside.
Exactly.
For the greater
so,
good.
So she has done what I said that Richmond player Bashahuli did. So how come it's gone pear-shaped?
Sounds to me, and again, this is just my opinion, it's obviously been mismanaged at the start. It's got the backup of Hancock, and in the end, they've just said, no, we're done, we're out. And again, there is precedence right through. There's a very famous story. It's not beliefs, but it's along sponsorship lines.
I remember that FIVEAA
Ahmed. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a better one. In 92, in the Barcelona Olympics, Michael Jordan's sponsored by Nike, but the American basketball team's sponsored by Reebok. So they come out, they win the gold medal. Jordan says, you will not see Reebok on me because I'm a Nike man. He walks out and collects his medal. He's the only player in that team that has an American flag draped over the Reebok sign. The only one. Because a ramification of that for him personally. Why couldn't they let her not wear it for 3 games?
That's exactly right.
And then, as you said, she turned around and said, all right, I'll wear it. By that stage, it sounds like the horse has bolted.
But again, Danelle Wallam had to compromise.
That's right.
The team didn't. Hancock Prospecting didn't. They walked away, and Netball Australia, I think, have botched it.
I think it's a perfect storm of misinformation at the start, which, as Catherine said, it had nothing to do with climate. You've got past players like Shani jumping in, making noise. That gets picked up. It gets sensationalised. Everyone thinks one thing. Hancock, to their credit, think one thing as well. And they said, no, we're not putting up with this. We're out. And that surprises the players and Netball Australia.
So the declaration of commitment to Indigenous peoples for the game, how well's that aged when they've just written that? They've got their first for years, Danelle Wallam in.
Yep.
And now that poor girl.
That's right, it's gone pear-shaped.
I think she's the pawn in all this and thrown under a bus.
It's an olive branch that's worth $15 million that someone needs to get in front of Hancock and say, hey,
that's not going to happen.
It's been a miscommunication. Let's go.
I think Gina's the sort of lady that when she says no, it's no.
I think you're right. A lot of text messages on that. We'll get to those right after this. Let's check the traffic first for your drive home. If you're buying a Mitsubishi or getting your car service, head to the all-new Wavell Mitsubishi or Southern Mitsubishi.
At Elizabeth Vale, look out for a breakdown, Main North Road, just before John Rice Avenue. Got a lane block there at the moment. Mylan, urgent gas works, Henley Beach Road near South Road. She's down to 40 k's. And look out at Hackon Road, plates in use due to a sinkhole made South Road near Penny's Hill Road. Busy ride now, Main North Road at Grand Junction Road with cameras, Walkerville Terrace, Gilberton and War Memorial Drive in North Adelaide. Enjoy zero-cost FPOS from SmartPay. Make the switch today. No terminal rental, no merchant fees. Visit smartpay.com.au. Minimum turnover and T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G.
Any time of year, trust the mighty South Aussies. Great food lives here, Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah. Foodland. The mighty South Aussies, yeah. The mighty South Aussies, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyday low prices.
At virginaustralia.com. Economy light fares exclude check baggage and seat selection. Payment surcharge may apply. Subject to availability and travel periods. Conditions apply.
Get started on your to-do list before summer hits. Whether it's plumbing, electrical or something else, RAA Trade Assist is ready to help our members. Don't rely on a DIY. Let RAA Trade Assist do it. Visit raa.com.au/trade assist for more info and
keep on moving on.
A once-in-a-lifetime experience. The most emotional dance event of the year. The United Ukrainian Ballet in Swan Lake, the world's most loved ballet. Due to huge demand, new show just released. The Strictly Limited season opens Wednesday, November 9. Swan Lake at the Adelaide Festival Centre, selling fast. Book today at Ticketek.
Here is a true SA family business. A real good story. ASIC Couriers, they've got the brothers and sisters, cousins, aunts, the lot, but they need more drivers on the road so they can help deliver on their high standard of perfect service. And due to new contacts starting, ASIC need drivers urgently. They've got lots of contracts. So if you join now, you'll get paid $1,500. Walk in the door, take the job, get through it, bang, $1,500. Yep, $1,500 just for joining up. Now, what are you waiting for? Get on the phone to the team at ASIC Couriers and kick-start your career. It is a terrific company, and you're your own boss. There's your run. You click on, out you go. Probably already qualified too, because you know all you need is a driver's licence. T's and C's apply. Ring 'em, ASIC Couriers.
At 1, Ruby was diagnosed with cancer. At 5, Harry's parents discovered he had asthma. At 8, Olivia developed mental health issues.
At 7, we're doing something about it. The Channel 7 Children's Research Foundation supports research into things that shouldn't be part of a kid's life. Donate and help us help them. crf.org.au.
Introducing the Kia Cars of the Year. The Kia Cars of the Year. The fully electric Kia EV6. The Wheels Car of the Year. And the Drive Car of the Year. The Kia Sportage. To pick your side in this sibling rivalry, visit kia.com.au.
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Scraped your caravan? Your insurance should cover that. Speak to Walker Crash Repairs and let them fix it.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
4 to 5, Bix coming up after 5 o'clock. Cafe de Village text coming through thick and fast. First, Luke's called in from Craigmore.
Hello there, Luke.
Hey, Rowie. First of all, apologies to Mark Frailing. I was wrong about the red back, so we'll get that over and done with. Just an opinion on the netball thing. Look, I've just a feeling is that the prospect, Hancock prospect thing, they donate and they give more money to the Indigenous up there in Western Australia than what you and I would earn in our lifetime, really. They give that each week. So I just feel that the players have got uneducated agendas that they want to, all this social justice crap that they're going on about is just costing 15 mil, and that's just an opinion, and it serves itself right in a way. That's
Luke, Danelle Wallen is aggrieved with it all. She knows the history of Hancock prospecting. We know the comments that Lang Hancock made, and when you've got a declaration of commitment to protect and support and nurture in the game, you've got to do that. So I'm ticking all those boxes. It was appalling what he said. Even you would admit that, Luke. We fast forward to this negotiation, hence getting Catherine Harvey-Williams on. Someone has sooked it up. Someone has thrown the toys out with the cot because there was an agreement. There was an agreement, and someone's walked away from the agreement. Now, it can only be one of two things, Luke. Netball Australia stuffed it up because the players are going to stick together, and they're going to stick with Danelle Wallen, and we all get that.
Sisters in arms.
Sisters in arms, you can call it what the hell you like. Someone at Netball Australia has stuffed it up, or Gina Reinhardt, and I would defend her on this, has gone, you know what, get stuffed, I'm out.
Yep.
It can be only one of those two things, Luke, and that's why we want to get Catherine Harvey-Williams on. We want to protect Danelle Wallen. A young girl on debut being fronted with that, and I think she got used as the pawn in all of this. 100% it started with global warming.
I would
now,
argue...
Now, Catherine denies that. It started with the environment, it started with failings, and it started with all of that now we hear Pat Cummins doing similar with Alinta Gas. And then because that didn't get any bite, you know what they did? Oh, Danelle, mate, you know what he said back in the 90s?
I can only take Catherine on her word.
No, I'm not questioning it, but I'm surmising, I think, what we think has happened. Now, until we speak to Netball Australia... We've only got the players' representative on. We haven't got Netball Australia. Now, Catherine Harvey-Williams is a lady of absolute integrity. She's not going to throw anyone under the bus, let alone Gina or Netball Australia. But one of those two parties, from where I sit, has either got it wrong or spat it or said, go and get
Or possibly both. Couple of texts before Bix. Peter says the Netball Association ducking and weaving, he's over it. Rob says it's Gina's cash, so you got to make her happy. This one says, I've heard no gratitude to Hancock for stumping up the $15 million from Catherine. This one says 40 years ago, affecting modern-day netball is just mind-boggling. Well, again, comments don't lose their strength 40 years on. This one says, Gina took her bat and ball and she went home. She didn't have to be a bully with Netball Australia. It gives some balance to this story. And Jack says, the sporting media, again, hell-bent on sensationalism and reporting on the agenda which they have created, and now the individuals are once again vilified in the pursuit of a headline. Bix with more on that next.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
Luxuriously crafted from the ground up, this is your time to upgrade your lifestyle. Choose from a range of spacious 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments, now selling at Adelaide's most sought-after address, 88 O'Connell. Your prestigious new apartment comes with so much to adore. A ground floor marketplace with bar and dining, pools and gymnasium, retail shopping on your doorstep, and just a short stroll to the city. Apartments are selling fast. Secure yours. Visit 88o'connell.com.
G'day, what you looking at? Shh. Be quiet. Oh, what you looking at?
Oh, well, isn't it obvious? It's remarkable. The detail and finish of Michelangelo with the raw beauty of Monet. I've never seen anything like it.
I have. I've got one at home. Drive on it every day.
What? What do you mean? That's ridiculous.
It's an exposed aggregate driveway. Beautiful.
All right, who's the artist?
Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground all year round.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Early tonight, a low of 13 with the 5 o'clock news. I'm Michaela Kamarek.
All new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 10-year warranty, 10 years capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi.
The Prime Minister says tomorrow's budget will deliver on 3 key commitments to help Australian families. He maintains the financial blueprint will be responsible, address cost of living pressures and fund Labor's election promises. Spending will be focused on childcare, aged care, reducing the cost of medicines and fast-tracking NBN upgrades. Anthony Albanese says the budget will be fair.
Deals with cost of living pressures whilst not putting pressure on inflation, so targeted family-friendly budget that also removes some of the waste and rorts that have riddled the budget over a period of time.
Senior doctors will review why a young boy who'd been stabbed had to wait several hours for treatment at the Women's and Children's Hospital. 9-year-old Huck was stabbed in the hand and his mother in the arm after an altercation with 3 men outside their Unley home. Health Minister Chris Picton says his injury was considered a priority 3.
At this time, there was other higher priority cases in the system. There were people getting resuscitation in 2 separate incidences at the same time. And so the hospital's saying it did take 3.5 hours to get a doctor to assess him. The family is saying it took longer than that.
There's been record rainfall in Renmark leading to flash flooding. 95 mils fell in 5 hours yesterday, keeping emergency crews busy. The town's on alert for more floodwaters coming down the Murray from interstate, but Rick Edmonds, owner of the Frames luxury accommodation in Parenga, says it's not all bad news for the area.
We need these floods to reinvigorate the floodplains. There's going to be some people going to be inconvenienced, but compared to what's happening up the head of the river, it's totally different down here.
The Liberals are demanding a letter sent by Lydia Thorpe to the Senate President must be released publicly. Senator Thorpe is prepared to be investigated over an undisclosed relationship with an ex-bikie boss. She was dating the Rebels member while serving on Parliament's Law Enforcement Committee examining outlaw motorcycle gangs. Liberal Senator James Patterson says it's important to understand the rules Senator Thorpe believes she's broken.
Senator Thorpe has obviously agreed her conduct is so serious that it must be referred to the Privileges Committee. Well, what is the basis for her own referral? Which are the standing orders that she believes she has breached, which the Privileges Committee now is required or will be required to investigate should the Senate agree to it?
And in the UK, the race to replace Liz Truss continues. Boris Johnson has announced he won't be officially putting his hand up to become the next Prime Minister. That leaves Rishi Sunak to become the next PM. Now Turning to 5AA sport, Ross Lyon is returning to coach St Kilda, saying he has unfinished business. The 55-year-old has been signed on a 4-year deal 11 years after walking out on the club.
It's a privilege to be back as senior coach at the St Kilda Football Club. Once this opportunity started to open up, I reflected on the special bonds and friendships I have with past players and staff that I've maintained since 2007 and my departure.
Chris Fagan's return as Brisbane coach is imminent, with the board meeting tomorrow night set to reinstate him at the helm. Fagan took a leave of absence last month following a Hawthorn review into its treatment of Indigenous players during his time at the Hawks. And the T20 Cricket World Cup is back underway, with Bangladesh taking on the Netherlands in Hobart. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Elizabeth Vale, look out for a breakdown. Main North Road just before John Rice Avenue. Got a lane block there. Mile End, urgent gasworks. Henley Beach Road near South Road down to 40 Ks. And Paracabus, Main North Road near Montague Road. Busy ride now. Hartley Road at Holbrooks Road with cameras. Winston Avenue, Door Park and Diagonal Road at Glengarry. Where do you find value every day? Big W. They make sure the quality stands up while keeping the prices down. Discover more at bigw.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Get the Toyota Forklift Advantage. Visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Tomorrow a shower or two, 19. Wednesday showers 18 and Thursday showers and a top of 18. Right now it's 18 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
Watching from the beach as his son was attacked by a shark. Here in Adelaide, Dad's remarkable story. The shock number of South Australians needing help to put food on the table. See the tornado that hit a local town. New hope for anyone with chronic pain. And smart shopping, your guide to shaving hundreds off your weekly grocery bill. I'm Brenton Raglis. See the full story on 9 News tonight at 6.
G'day, it's Merv Hughes here. After years of snoring like a train, the missus sent me for a CPAP Direct sleep test. I'm sleeping quiet and waking up refreshed.
If your CPAP gear needs some TLC, bring it in to CPAP Direct this month for a free health check. Our clinicians will make sure everything is optimised to give you the best result. Book your appointment at cpap.com.au.
Find your local store at cpap.com.au.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
Montine, everybody's talking about Montine. And everybody's talking about Ford, Kia, Hyundai and Mitsubishi, with all 4 brands representing state-of-the-art vehicles with unheard-of stock availability. Montine at Mount Barker is your ultimate destination for servicing, parts, used cars, vehicle finance, all at one perfect location. Mention the code word MG coming soon to receive $500 free accessories on any vehicle purchase. Now that's why everybody's talking about Montine.
MVD 182170.
Walker Crash Repairs. For easy insurance repairs on your caravan, get it fixed right with Walker Crash Repairs.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
No, Tim, he is just days away. Mark Bickley's going to join us in just 1 second. We'll get to your calls, your emails, your SMS. A lot of those shooting through. Our rookie elevation at 5:30 is Raylene from Modbury North, and we'll also touch on the cricket very shortly. But let's chat to Bix. It's all thanks to the great team from McGain Real Estate. If you are selling, they have buyers ready to go right now. Sold by McGain again.
Number 26, the captain, Mark Bickley.
The skip, Mark Bickley.
How are you, Bix?
I'm well, Rowie. How are you?
Yeah, I thought we'd start here. Shane Titch Edwards, what'd he get?
Oh, fantastic for Adelaide. Did a little bit of homework. Been working with Richmond's recruiters for the last 3 or 4 years now, at least. So a bit like Robbie Gray, similar type arrangement where he must have decided I want to stay in football and took a real interest there while he was still playing, which makes a whole lot of sense. And now comes back to Adelaide. He's going to be working with the Indigenous development, but I just feel like he's going to continue to take an interest in recruiting. He'll do that development work. He's obviously got a lot of culture, opportunities to express some of the development that Richmond went through. Because remember, Like, he played over 300 games, but I reckon the first 200 were pretty tough in terms of, having a real hard time of it at Richmond, and they were able to build a bridge and to get to that successful era. And he
knows what successful is.
Yeah,
like.
he had a first-hand experience of what it takes to get from not being great to being great. And, yeah, he also offers diversity to Adelaide's coaching staff and to the AFL coaches, which I think the competition's been screaming out for.
My word. Sounds like there's more off-field appointments. Are you hearing that, or this is the last one, or are there any more appointments that are needed? Is there any areas they need to strengthen up?
I'm not sure. This is obviously an addition. Nobody's left the club, and all the assistant coaches are all staying on, as far as I know. So I'm not sure how many more positions there will be. So there may be. They may have identified something over the off-season. I think there is a slight increase in the soft cap, which does allow them to perhaps spend a little bit more money on the football department. But, yeah, we'll wait and see.
Ross Lyon is the man. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And as you said, they clearly had him in mind. Ross said to them, I'm not talking to you whilst you've still got a coach in place, which is code for, I reckon, if you're serious, get rid of the coach and then come and have a discussion with me. But it's going to be really interesting, because this is a great example of Ross, who is one of those old-style coaches who has an absolute fierce, or not fierce isn't the right word, he has an absolute clear picture in his mind about how the game should be played. And that's probably a slightly defensive bent. But the other interesting part of this is the two other coaching appointments he's had. He actually inherited a reasonable squad. And when I say reasonable, he took over from Grant Thomas in 2006. They finished 6th that year before. Here were the players who were at St Kilda at the time. Del Santo, Goddard, Montagna, Gehrig, Revolt, Kajitsky, Sam Fisher, Milne, Lenny Hayes, Luke Ball and Robert Harvey. So 322, 334, 260, 287, 200, 336, 228, 275, 297, 223, 383.
Not bad.
So all those players were out-and-out stars, weren't they? And they went on, and Gehrig kicked 550 goals, Milne kicked 575. Now, some of those were young guys and were clearly moulded and shaped by Ross Lyon and had a huge influence on their footy and the way they see it. But what I'm saying is they had some genuine star talent there. You go to 2012, we took over from Mark Harvey at Fremantle, Nat Fyfe, Stephen Hill, Luke McFarlane, David Mundy, Matthew Pavlich, Aaron Sandilands, Lockie Neal, Michael Walters.
Some stars there.
There's some real good players there. Now, they finished, I think it was 10th or 11th when he took over. He took them to the grand final. But the wheels fell off in the last 4 seasons, and he finished 16th, 17th, 16th and 16th. So in his last 4 years that he's coached at AFL level, his winning record is 29 and 58. It's not exactly, we must go out and have this guy.
No.
So this is
because I think the game changed too. It actually did change on him in that period.
And there's 3.5 years have gone on since that moment as well. So what I'm saying is, this is a real experiment. Is it Ross Lyon's process? This is how I'm going to teach you to play. This is the way the game plays. And yes, you need a couple of good players, but it's more about the process than the talent. Or is it the other way? Was the St Kilda and the Fremantle rising to the grand final on the back of 10 really talented youngsters or players at the club? Because if that is the case, I think he's going to battle a little bit with St Kilda. You look at St Kilda's list, really like Max King, obviously, is a big tall forward. Jack Steele, and there's a couple of other, Brad Crouch, Wangaleen Malira, who had, I think, a really solid first year last year. But I tell you what, there's a lot of middle-of-the-road type of guys that have played 70 or 80 or 100 games. Now, if Ross can get them all in the right direction and he can take them to a grand final, I'll dip my lid and say you're a superstar and you are an excellent coach. Now, he's already an excellent coach because he's taken 2 teams to grand finals, and that's hard to do even when you've got great talent. I think there's a talent deficit at St Kilda, and it's going to be a lot harder this time round for Ross.
Well, what does Lee Matthews always say? Players make coaches, and they break them too. Well, that one could end in tears. I think you might be right. In the end, it's a reasonably good appointment. I guess there was no one else out there. There's no doubt in my mind. They earmarked him ages ago.
Well,
102 days ago, what was it? Brett Ratton had a contract, signed it. The pen hadn't even dried. The ink hadn't even dried, and they're into Ross.
Well, for me,
he would have spoken to that board.
Well, I think what I said.
Yeah.
The review said we needed someone like Ross Lyon. I reckon they approached Ross, and Ross said, "Don't even talk to me while you got a coach."
Yes.
And so that forces their hand. When you say it's a reasonable appointment, I'm just totally against the appointment. If you're going to appoint someone for 2 years and extend their contract, you do that for a reason. Either do the review before you reappoint someone.
Yep.
It's a bit stupid to reappoint someone and then do a review and then sack them because the review's not right. That to me is just dumb. It's poor governance.
Yeah.
And so I can't agree really with what they've done. Once you commit to someone, I think that you had to see it out. Is this side going to be so much better under Ross Lyon than Brett Ratton, do you think?
Well, they clearly think so.
They do, and time will tell. And once again, this is just my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong, which I've been 100 times before. And Ross Lyon, as I said, he's got real clear belief about how he wants to play. Does that still stack up? The 13 seasons he's coached in AFL football, only one has he ever been in the top 4 for scores for.
Wow.
So he's a defensive style coach.
He's going to have to change.
Does that still work? We'll wait and see.
Okay.
Meantime, Brett's out of a job, and the two who re-signed him just carry on. Everything's good. We're going to take a short break. More with Bix to come. We'll talk about the cricket over the weekend next. Before we do that, your chance to win.
The 5AA Sports Show Mystery Moments.
Has the hand of history on his shoulder.
Well, if you think you know what the moment is, $250 could be yours thanks to the Burrows. Enjoy $17 snitty Monday to Wednesday at the Albion, the Birkenhead Tavern, the Excelsior, the Lighthouse Wharf Hotel. Go to it, 8223 0055.
The 5AA Sports Show Mystery Moments.
Has the hand of history on his shoulder.
In the meantime, let's check the traffic. If you're buying a Mitsubishi, getting your car service, head into the all-new Wavell Mitsubishi or Southern Mitsubishi.
At Elizabeth Park, got a Carvey motorbike, Yorktown Road near Palmer Road. Mile End, Urgent Gasworks, Henley Beach Road near South Road, speeds out of 40, while at Paraka, Burstwater Main North Road near Montague Road. Busy right now, Cliff Street, Glengarry and Goodwood Road at Lake Gardens. Style your home and save at Freedom. Get up to 50% off rugs and up to 40% off mirrors and lighting. Find everything you need to relax in style only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G.
Finding support for living with a disability can be tough. Lutheran Disability Services empowers people to live with purpose through providing safe accommodation, independent living support and community engagement. This Thursday, tune into Afternoons with me, Jade Robran. I'll be joined by John Van Ruth, who's the CEO of Lutheran Disability Services. He'll be answering questions and offering expert advice in the 5AA Interactive Lounge from 2:30 to 3:30. Don't miss Lutheran Disability Services with me, Jade Robran, this Thursday on 1395 Adelaide's 5AA.
Well, trying to find out what is making news in the Channel 7 newsroom as we welcome the lovely Rosanna Mangiarelli to the show. And Rosanna, it's all about the shark attack.
It certainly is, and we're back to the scene of yesterday's frightening shark attack off Seacliff Leith. Swimmers have actually returned to the water despite the warnings, certainly braver than I am. So the 19-year-old victim still counting his blessings, and it's not surprising. He swam to shore, rattled but unscathed after that shark took a massive chunk out of his surf ski. Also tonight, a new push by major crime detectives to identify a mystery man who was washed up on a South Australian beach 60 years ago. What Virgin Airlines is doing to win back disgruntled passengers. In sport, the Aussies are preparing to face Sri Lanka in the T20 World Cup after a disastrous start against New Zealand. And a Tigers premiership star has landed at West Lakes. What his special role will be off the field. Hope you can join us tonight at 6.
Thank you, Rosanna. Rosanna Mangiarelli and all the team at Channel 7. There's only one choice, 7 News tonight at 6.
A shock absorber, CV joint, or maybe a bearing kit. It may seem like just a four-wheel-drive part, but open it up and you'll find so much more. Each terrain tamer four-wheel-drive part is the culmination of 50 years of experience. Every break, every lesson, every setback far from home strengthens everything we do. So when you break down miles from home and you drag out our number, you'll know you're in safe hands. That's the Terrain Tamer connection, and it comes free with every part.
Do you want fresh filtered water flowing through your home? Choose a system by Complete Home Filtration. Joining me from Complete Home Filtration is Suzanne Dodds, who incidentally won the Telstra 2022 Business Awards. So what's the benefits of filtered water, Suzanne?
Well, the benefits of filtering water for the whole home mean that you don't just enjoy filtered water for drinking, but for showering and bathing as well. So people see big differences in softer skin, softer hair, unlimited bottled water, quality water from every tap.
That sounds great. So where can we purchase one?
You can just jump online and go to completehomefiltration.com.au.
That's completehomefiltration.com.au.
Taste, feel, see the difference. Swan, Australia's #1 in do-it-yourself security, introduces All Secure 650, a wireless security kit with rechargeable battery cameras you can set up in minutes, not hours. Featuring a power hub that stores up to 2 years of footage and a recharging bay and spare battery, so you can swap batteries with ease and no downtime. Receive alerts, see and control everything from your phone. All Secure 650 from leading electrical retailers and swan.com. Always charged, always secure. From Swan Security.
The wait is over. Renew your passport and prepare to fall in love with Europe all over again. From the idyllic islands of Greece, delights of Iceland, picturesque waterways of Germany and France to the glittering waters of the Med, Philhoffen Travel have the perfect event to inspire you. With over 15 European specialists, the European Showcase, Philhoffen Travel Glenelg, Saturday 29th of October, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Free entry, register today, pht.com.au.
Scraped your caravan? Walker Crash Repairs, an RAA-approved caravan crash repairer.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sport Show. The 5AA Sport Show Mystery Moment.
Has the hand of history on his shoulder.
Can Charlie win $250 for the Burrows?
Where you go, Charlie?
Afternoon, Leith and Stephen. I'm as confident of this as I am of a road prediction.
Ooh.
So here goes. I reckon it's Maradona's hand of God.
Yeah. Well, you know how my predictions go, Charlie. Bong.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. All right, $50 Barrow Hotel Group voucher, mate. All yours.
You'll enjoy that. The Snitty and Wednesdays at the Albion, the Birkenhead, the Excelsior and the Lighthouse. Just $17, so Charlie can get 2.5.
I've been saying the T20 World Cup, who cares? Well, they did at the SCG Saturday night, sold out. And they did last night, sold out. India v Pakistan. Joining us, cricket commentator Jeff Lemon. Jeff, thanks for your time.
Great to be with you.
I'll start with the Aussies. We were never in it, were we?
No, and that can happen in T20 cricket. Well, after about 4 overs, Australia weren't in it. Finn Allen is someone that not everybody would have heard of at the top of the order for the Kiwis, but he's one of the fastest scorers in the history of T20 cricket, anywhere, anytime. He's young, he's 23, but he's had a barnstorming start to his career, and by the time he'd smoked about 40 off the first 3 overs, they were pretty much gone.
It was gone. Green in this week, or Smith versus Sri Lanka tomorrow night?
I don't think they'll make a change at this stage. Like I think it's at that point where, okay, you've had one loss to one of the other bigger teams in your group, and if you start changing the team around, then it looks like you're panicking early. So I think they'll stick with it as things are and hope that everything goes as it should against Sri Lanka.
What about Aaron Finch? Hasn't been in great form at different stages, and I guess he's still battling on, and it's just a tough position for him.
Yeah, it's a pretty regular thing with Aaron Finch that he comes into a tournament not having made any runs and then he's able to turn it on. He did put together a couple of 50s in his last few hits after not scoring any before that, so I think he'll be looking back at that. He made 70-odd against India in the last warm-up game just before they started, so he'll be optimistic, I think, that things will turn around pretty shortly.
Well, let's talk about last night's game. Firstly, you were there. Just try and describe the atmosphere, particularly later on in that game. It was quite remarkable.
Well, a fascinating thing. I mean, people listening in might be able to identify with this. You've got your home ground in your home city. You have a way that you understand that it works. You know, I've been going to the MCG for decades and watching footy and cricket there, and there's a certain atmosphere at a cricket match which is, you know, it's not that boisterous, it's not that loud. Sometimes it can get going a bit if there's an exciting passage of play. But being there with the sold-out crowd, with every seat taken all the way to the back rafters, 90+ thousand in, and just hearing them absolutely go off from about an hour before the first ball, right through until the close, it's electrifying. You literally get goosebumps, sitting there with the commentary box windows open and this wall of noise coming in. And then during that last over, every twist and turn in the last over, it just kept getting louder and louder. It was an extraordinary thing to witness.
I've heard some people describe it who have been at grand finals, they've been at Boxing Day tests, and as the best atmosphere ever at the MCG. How would it line up in your experience?
It's certainly one of the most memorable occasions at the MCG. There's a big difference with largely Asian crowds versus largely Anglo crowds. There's a lot less drinking with the Asian crowds, but there's a much more festive feel. There's more of a sort of party atmosphere, and it's in a wholesome kind of way. There's noise at everything. Every dot ball gets a cheer. Every single gets a cheer. There's much more involvement. It's not just applaud the wicket or the boundary. It's every part of the game that they're invested in. And what really stood out was that there was a big chunk of Pakistan supporters, whether it was 30% or 40 or whatever it was. There was no trouble between any of the segments of supporters. There was so much sort of goodwill between the two teams on the field as well. And it just really stood out that everybody was there for the right reasons and wanted it to go off in the right way.
Good on you, Jeff. Get the Aussies up tomorrow night versus Sri Lanka, mate. Thanks for your time.
Do what we can.
Great work, Jeff Lemon there, cricket journalist. Cafe de Villie's text before we let Bix go. You really are embarrassing yourself, Ro. Gina Reinhart never does anything out of the goodness of her heart. It's all about Gina. Well, that's nasty. Ro, was it Gina Reinhart who let Lee Matthews clip you in a function and didn't he push you into a pot plant or something? Well, no, it wasn't Gina. You were there, Bix. It was when we went to Shanghai and we were on Lee Matthews' table and the CEO of BHP wanted to get a photo with Lee because she was a real Lee fan, and I thought she wanted to have a photo with sort of like both of us, and anyway I got up to pose in the photo and Lee might
excuse me, just move over, get out of it. Just the two of us.
And he gave me a little right hand.
Wow.
Yeah, I may very well have landed into a pot plant. And this one, Ro. So social justice is crap, is it? What an uneducated view. Walk a mile in their shoes, you buffoon. I didn't say social justice was crap. I love it how people twist your words and turn you into a racist over one small little thing. Goodness me.
And this is nuanced. I think we said this late last week. This isn't, bloody sports people sticking up saying we don't want the money if it's from... This is a very... As we heard Catherine Harvey-Williams talk about, there's been communication breakdowns, there's been misunderstandings, there's been a whole... She found out the day before it was going to be okay for this tournament, but not for that tournament. To me,
it just went sideways.
Yeah, and what we also saw, it took a life of its own on social media, which we can see. And hopefully, the other thing I want to mention around Gina Reinhart, her brand is... It's got nothing to do with, like, you and I can't go and buy a ton of iron ore. Like, she's not trying to convince you or me. Like, there is she's trying to do this to be a good citizen, I guess, corporate citizen. And
she wants to give back. And she has in WA. She's revered in WA.
Yeah,
we don't hear enough of her.
So there's that part of it, but there's also she's trying to position her company as well. So there are so many, like I said, nuances to this. So it's very difficult for someone who gets a soundbite on the news service, an article written by one sort of news service, another article from a different slant. It's very difficult for someone like me or the person who just picks up the Sunday Mail and tries to understand the whole thing. It's much more nuanced than that.
Don't reckon she suffers fools either. She probably didn't even read the paper, saw the headline and went, all right, I'm out, and pulled her 15 mil, and that's it, done and dusted.
I think that's what's happened.
Bix McGain Real Estate.
Yes, they've got families lined up waiting for new homes to be listed for sale right now. In actual fact, I was talking to a couple of the McGain staff today, and they had a cracking weekend, multiple offers on a lot of their properties. Wow. So if you're thinking about selling, still a good time. So if you're looking to sell, ask them about their McGain match strategy. Sold by McGain again.
Good on you, Bix. Thank you for that. Enjoy your week. We will see you on Friday. We're always excited to see you, Bix. But coming up after 5:30, we're even more excited today because our rookie elevation is a voice we've spoken to for years, if not decades. Raylene from Modbury North is here. She'll be elevated next.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G. 5AA Breakfast.
19-year-old Nathaniel Drummond at Seacliff Beach in the water. Thankfully not injured by a shark, but his surf ski was definitely bitten correctly in half.
We have got Nat's dad Murray on the line now.
We saw everyone sort of scrambling coming in.
Informing Adelaide.
And we saw this, 19-foot ocean ski with this massive big hole in it. Oh, yeah, our hearts sank. It was horrific, yeah.
6 a.m. weekdays on 5AA.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Last month we spoke about the best new laptop of 2022, HP's Envy X360. Well, it just got better. Harvey Norman has added a special new bonus. Not only do you get a 2-for-1 device that has a flip screen to make it more like a tablet, and fast, reliable computing with 16 gig of RAM and a 512 gig solid-state drive. On top of all these incredible specs, you'll also score a bonus $300 Harvey Norman gift card. The perfect excuse to grab some accessories or even treat yourself to a new coffee machine. All yours with a beautifully designed HP Envy, available now at Harvey Norman for only $1,999.
Check out this great offer at 5AA.com.au. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
When shopping around for hearing aids, the main sound you'll hear is... But not at Specsavers, where you don't have to pay top dollar for top-of-the-range hearing aids. Just book a free 15-minute hearing check at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Then maybe you could use those savings to hear something more pleasant like... Should have gone to Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Imagine the thought of innovation at your fingertips, accelerating with efficiency and power. Imagine a bold, striking design with the comfort and confidence of advanced safety tech. Imagine where you could go in a Hyundai SUV. An SUV range with enough style, tech and performance to turn your imagination into reality. So if you're thinking SUV, think Hyundai SUV. Discover yours at hyundai.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. Police are investigating after human remains were found at Salisbury South this afternoon. The Prime Minister says tomorrow's budget will be responsible, address cost of living pressures and fund Labor's election promises. Rishi Sunak is in the box seat to become Britain's next Prime Minister after former leader Boris Johnson bowed out, and Ross Lyon has signed a 4-year deal to return as coach of the St Kilda Football Club. Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Elizabeth Park, look out for a car v motorbike there, Yorktown Road near Palmer Road. Mile End, urgent gasworks, Henley Beach Road near South Road down to 40, while at Paraka, Burst Water Main North Road near Montague Road. Busy right now, Hartley Road at Holtbrooks Road, and we've got Camera South Road at Edwardstown and Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. The Good Smarty Gamers Minis range, mini burritos, bowls, nachos and more from only $8.70. It's cheaper than cooking at home. Grab your GYG Mini today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Cloudy tonight, a low of 13. Showers tomorrow, 19. Currently it's 17 degrees. More news at 6 o'clock and As It Happens on 5AA.
Zambrero is so good, but it's about to get better with free burritos. Yup, Zambrero is opening a new restaurant really soon at Melrose Park. When it does, enjoy burritos, tacos and nachos with fresh, delicious ingredients. Plus, on opening day, they're giving away free burritos from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Zam right, Zambrero Melrose Park. Opening soon at 985 South Road.
It's not just your deliveries that ASA Couriers look after. They're also proud supporters of the community. Chris, tell us more.
That's right, Rowie. At ASIC Couriers, we're proud supporters of over 16 sporting clubs. We also work with and support the Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation to strive for a happy and positive workplace. By supporting us, you're also supporting the community.
Don't just send it, ASIC. Scraped your caravan? Your insurance should cover that. Speak to Walker Crash Repairs and let them fix it.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
27 minutes to 6. Tim Ginniver returning in days, mere days, almost getting into that sort of returning in hours category. That's coming up very soon. What it has done, though, is it's given us the opportunity to be a little self-indulgent, if you like, because we have so many great callers on this station, not just for years, but for decades. And we thought, what if we got the chance to get them in? You could see them on our live stream on Facebook and YouTube, all thanks to Foodland, the mighty South Aussies. But you get to hear them for the next half hour. It's our Rookie Elevation.
Your broadcast window is open. Begin transmission.
The 5AA Sports Show, Rookie Elevation.
And today is a name and a voice that we have heard for decades.
Yes, Raylene from Modbury. We've met a number of occasions. How are you?
I'm great, Steve. I'm even better now that I'm actually in here. This is one of my dreams come true.
Oh, my goodness. We call you the protector, the proud grandmother when you ring up, but you've had to knock off from work. You're working now out at Ross Trevor College.
Yes, that's right, with all the the boys boarding from all over the state and interstate and whatever, and I just absolutely love it. And I want to say hi, guys, but I'm not mentioning any names because I don't want to be the one upsetting someone because they didn't get mentioned.
Oh, okay. So is it schnitty mashed potatoes and peas tonight?
I don't know what they're having tonight. I'm not there to see what the menu is, but I hope they're getting fed, and I know they will be.
Oh, it's a good school. You're actually an arch enemy of mine because my son went to Sacred Heart, and Sacred Heart and Ross Trevor are that's the Intercom.
Yeah, I know. And we got done, didn't we, by about...
There you go.
Yeah.
How many boys in the boarding house, Raylene?
At the moment, there's probably about 50, but it's limited a bit because COVID sort of messed up some of the other kids coming in.
And they're all country followers, aren't they?
Yeah. You're from all over the place.
And
Northern
big,
Territory.
They're just big Catholic
They eat
boys.
a lot of food too.
They're big Catholic boys, but I don't know. They follow the rules sometimes.
Oh, come on.
That's boarding house life for you.
Now, you're a port girl.
Yes, I am, and you know that, Rowie.
I do know that.
Yeah, and I'm meeting up with the Crows man.
That's okay. We're allowed to do that. I married a port girl. Now, and Ken Hinkley, we trust. You're in his corner. I like that.
I don't think I'm in his corner. I think I'm throwing stones. At him. I don't know why we've kept him on.
I thought you were a port. I thought you were a Ken. In Ken we trust.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Not me. Like, how many chances is a man allowed to have before he gets a flag? Like, he's had some of the best players in AFL to deal with and to be able to take out a flag, and it hasn't come. And he's got so close, and no good being close because that's too far away to get a grand final flag.
3 prelims in his tenure there. I'll swap you, Raylene.
No, because you get to 3 prelims and you've got players, and then go back to when he left Westhoff out and puts in a young lad that wasn't up to standard at that stage, and you got a really important game and a guy that's was so good and dedicated to his club. And he's left out of a prelim final.
Gee,
this is the kind of discipline.
That's a good memory.
That is a good memory because I cried when he wasn't playing it, and I wasn't really a Westhoff fan.
Okay,
but he was an asset.
Who did they put in? Was it Todd Marshall?
Todd Marshall, early Todd Marshall. That you could blow him over with a feather, mate, at that stage of the game.
Todd's going to turn into a star.
Well, we hope so. We hope so.
So one bloke that was skinny was replaced by another bloke that was even skinnier. So who's your favourite player other than Justin Westhoff, the big Hoff?
Oh, well, Robbie Gray. Yeah. Travis Boak.
Everyone loves Boak.
Gavin Wanganeen, Sean Burgoyne. Look at those players that we had. Amazing guy, but they called poor old Marky Williams the choker, but I don't know what you'd call Hinkley. He's more than choke. He hasn't even got any.
Raylene.
He hasn't got any.
He could get you in the grand final this year.
He could.
And
if he knew what he was doing, he probably could.
Then what?
But he's got a good backup team now, hasn't he? They sent Voss off, and look what Voss does with Carlton.
Well, they didn't make the 8.
Well, it doesn't matter, but look at the team that he had to bring, to win a few games. We've got an amazing team. Can't even get there.
Okay, so if they finish in the 8, does he keep his job?
No.
Finishes top 4.
No.
Loses a prelim by less than a kick.
No.
Loses a grand final.
No.
Oh.
We've got to get a flag.
Raylene.
Flag or bust.
You are a report girl.
Wow.
But how many times do you have to go in for the top prize
Yep.
and not win?
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
You're a cult man.
You don't
Leith.
win silver, you lose
Leith.
gold. Raylene,
Leith.
I'm with you.
Leith, please.
It's a little harsh.
What about the AFLW girls? You'd be a big fan of those, surely.
Oh, Stephen, you haven't been reading my Facebook, I'm sure. About
No, I don't. No, Raylene, I don't have Facebook.
He loves Raylene on Facebook.
No, AFLW, I can't watch. It's just too amateurish, and sometimes I feel embarrassed for some of those girls. I think, okay, it's great that the girls are able to play footy now because it's been a long time they've wanted to do it.
Been their dream.
But the thing is, it came in too soon at that AFL level. And I think the girls that are coming through the football clubs today, in a few more years' time, are going to be ready for that top level professional game.
Okay.
But the ones of today aren't.
Well, this
So
backs that up
can't
a
watch
bit.
it.
Sydney are bottom. They're new in the team. Port
Yep.
Adelaide are new in the AFLW.
Yep.
Sydney have played 9 games, no wins,
Yep.
and they're bottom. Port Adelaide are second bottom as we sit here today.
Yep.
Port beat Sydney 10-8, 68
Yep.
to 2 points.
Yeah.
To 2
I don't
points.
even know what was. I never watched
2
it.
points.
I know. It's unfortunate.
Lee.
It's unfortunate. It's very
Okay.
unfortunate.
Hello, Iliano.
Hello, boys. I just want to have a go at Raylene there. I remember distinctly I was listening to your show, and she said Justin Westhoff was hopeless, and he's not a Port Adelaide player, and he shouldn't be there, and they had a really go at him. I can remember distinctly. It's virtually to say he's not from Port Adelaide, he shouldn't be there, or whatever. He then, after that, I remember that call. He then became one of the best players at Port Adelaide. And I just want to remind Raylene what she said then and what actually happened after that, just to remember.
Did you say that, Raylene?
I don't know when is he going back. He's probably going back a few years when I had a little bit of a thing in for good old Westy, because sometimes he looked to me like he was just ambling along, and I know that he's 100% better than what he was doing at the time, but I never ever said he shouldn't be there.
Yeah, absolutely, you did, Norrie. And you said he's not a Port Adelaide player, not one of us, and he shouldn't be there. And I thought, wow. That's really dug deep. And I'm a Crow supporter, and I thought,
get into him.
I know what your problem is now. You're a Crow supporter, mate. You've got to jump the fence and then you'll be all right. You'll know what you're talking about then.
Yeah, that's it. Talkback radio.
Iliano has remembered something that you probably said. Now, the Hoff started in 2007.
Yeah.
And he retired in 2020, played 280 games. And I tell you what, his showdown form was just absolutely unbelievable. He's an absolute star. So what year do you reckon that was that you might have made that comment? Because he come from Central Districts, but he loves Port Adelaide. He still works at Port Adelaide.
Yes, I know. I might have been going back it would have been a while back because he finished in 20.
Yep.
So probably gone back
Todd Marshall drafted in 2016, so he would have 27.
So do you think you could have said that? Do you think Iliano could be right that you might have?
Oh well, I could have said anything, and I might have, I might have been drunk, and I don't even drink.
All right, here we go, Raylene. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of you coming in. You're getting text messages, a lot of love, couple of negatives, but it rolls with the. Raylene is a great sport for putting up with Rowie, the big buffhead. This one says, Raylene, what do you think about the deliberate out of bounds rule?
Oh, I think it should be scrapped. Okay. Absolutely scrapped, because you get guys that kick from the centre, it bounces 3 or 4 times, and the umpire. It's all about what the umpires want to do with the game, as far as I'm concerned, because it's got to be scrapped. The same with the 50-metre penalty can turn the game around and really crush a game.
Grant says, Raylene, in capitals, you are 100% on point.
Wow.
Would love to know what we would call Ken Hinkley if we don't win the flag this year. On with you, Raylene, flag or nothing. This one says, Raylene, you're embarrassing us Port supporters.
Oh, Raylene.
This one says, Raylene, have a spell. But this is the beauty. See, you've got a lot of people calling and wanting to speak to you.
Can't please everyone, Raylene.
I know. I've tried all my life, and it's been 70-odd years, and I'm
You've
still
done
going.
well. We still love you. Hello, Jesse at Lightsview.
How are you guys? Look, you know, there's probably about 3 or 4 players in that port list that in their early stages, they copped a bit of flack. And that is, Westhoff is one of them. I was saying years ago the same thing, that he didn't put his head over the ball, and, you know, but as he matured, he became one of my favourite players. The other one that copped a bit of flack on Facebook and social media was Amon. Mate, I was calling for his head. I wanted him out of the side because I just thought he wasn't putting in enough, and then turned out, later on in the piece, turned out to be fantastic.
Yep. No, it's a good point, Jesse. I think another one you'd put in there would be Marshall in the early days, and still cops a bit up until this year. Connor Rosie in passages has been much maligned. They're those sort of players. But
well, can I butt in with Connor Rosie?
Oh, please.
Your show, Raylene. Take away.
I think Connor Rosie is a great young lad, great footballer, but a couple of seasons ago, you could tell as a spectator, and blind Freddie, and I don't know how Hinkley didn't pick it up, that the guy was suffering with no confidence. And I quietly put on my Facebook that if Hinkley is any sort of a coach, he should pick that up and help the kid get back to where his level that he started off with.
All Australian this year.
Yep, well, this
year
year
you got to praise Ken for this year.
He might have read your Facebook.
He might have.
He probably did.
He probably did, Raylene.
But it took too long because I was at games with Rosie, and he would get the ball and he was fidgeting, and he didn't know where to go. So the coach should have got that earlier, because
I think he did.
It could be a bit of demise for. I feel sorry for some of the young kids out there, what they've got to go through with trying to get the top level and doing their best.
They'll work hard. Connor Rosie, Zach Butters, Ryan Burton and Travis Boak are in America as we speak, training in that Red Bull camp, holding their breath. Can you hold your breath for a long time, Raylene?
If I went over there with them, I probably would be holding my breath.
Raylene, I would be happy with a prelim final, says one of our Cafe de Villiers texts. That's from a typical Port Adelaide supporter. So there's a little bit of negative there with your Ken Hinkley thoughts of it. Give us something positive then. What do you love in sport? What do you love about Port? Or what really excites you when you get to watch it?
Oh, just the whole atmosphere, the way that they play, and what they can do. But it's just the last few years they've mucked around with the team, ins, outs. You've got to be consistent. So you can't improve sitting on the bench.
No.
You've got to persevere, and it's no good throwing someone out because he didn't do something this week and then bringing someone else in, and they're like yo-yos. They're young kids, or young men, I should say, and we've all got to deal with knockback. And the more we get knocked back, the harder and they're disappointed.
Now, how many grandkids you got, Raylene? You're always very proud of them.
Yeah, I've got 8 altogether.
8?
Yeah.
Any of them going to be Port Adelaide players?
Well, I thought one might have been, but he's gone a bit past now.
Has he? A bit too old?
Yeah.
What's your youngest grandchild?
My youngest grandchild is about 12.
And the eldest?
The eldest is about 32.
So you're a great-grandmother yet?
Yes, I am.
You are a great-grandmother?
3 times a great-grandmother. And only.
Stop it.
Yes, and I've got...
A great-grandmother's... is the great-grandchild better than grandchild's?
Oh,
because I'm 4 months being a grandfather.
Yeah.
And they are pretty bloody special.
They are special. Well, I've just had a new great-grandson who's only 7 weeks old, and he's pretty amazing for a little baby. But my other great-grandkids are, 13 and 12, and they one of them plays footy, the other one doesn't. But they're all got their own special little ways, beautiful. And they're just make life.
You spoil them.
Yeah, I try not to, but it's a bit hard when you know.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
When you're working hard.
Graham, before we get to a break,
Hello,
we're going to...
Graham.
G'day, guys. Raylene, look, you and I'd have to have the competition to see who's the most passionate Port supporter, because I'm just one-eyed Port. Now, I want to talk about Connor Rosie. The thing with Connor Rosie was that they were playing him in the wrong position. Once they put him in the centre, he showed all the attributes of the great player that he is and the greater player that he's going to be.
Yes, I agree with you with that, but it just took a bit of a while, and Mr. Hinckley, that he thinks that he is without his plan B, and the more games we lose, the stronger we're going to get. I was thinking the next time he's going to come on and say we're going to start wearing green and turn into the Hulk.
Hey.
I love Raylene. She's so passionate in her opinions and always makes me laugh. Another cafe. You're getting a lot of love, Raylene.
You're getting plenty of love. We need Ken to just read Raylene's Facebook a little earlier to know what he needs to do. We're going to take a short break. On the other side, we're going to make Raylene do some work because we have 36ers tickets to give away.
Good.
If you would like to have a go at a 36ers quiz hosted by Raylene, 8223 0055, go to it. It's a New Zealand Breakers tip-off, 7 p.m. this coming Friday, the 28th of October, 8223 0055. In the meantime, here's what's happening on the roads. If you're buying a Mitsubishi, getting your car service, head to the all-new Wavell Mitsubishi or Southern Mitsubishi.
At Elizabeth Park, Carvey Motorbike, Yorktown Road near Palmer Road. Marland, Urgent Gasworks, Henley Beach Road near South Rose, down to 40 k's there. And Paracabus, Watermain, Main North Road near Montague Road. Busy right now, South Road at Karata Park with cameras, Osmond Terrace, Norwood and Penfold Road at Roslyn Park. 10 minutes to cook, 10 minutes for a chat and 10 seconds to make a life-saving call. Download the Barbecues Galore and Lifeline Toolkit at lifeline.org.au/10. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show. Join Rowie and Timmy G live from 4 p.m. this Thursday, October 27th at the Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, Marion. Come on down and see how huge this place really is. Hundreds of square metres of electrical, flooring, bedding, furniture and so much more. Plus, there'll be lots of prizes to be won, including 36ers tickets. So come and see Rowie and Timmy G live from 4 p.m. at Harvey Norman Clearance Centre, 919 Marion Road, Marion. Or watch on the 5AA live stream.
Living in a bushfire risk area means danger is on your doorstep. The new Australian Fire Danger Rating System is your simplified survival tool. Its daily forecast tells you how dangerous a bushfire would be if it broke out and what you need to do to stay safe on moderate, high, extreme and catastrophic days. The new Australian Fire Danger Rating System. Learn to live by it at cfs.sa.gov.au.
Mini Jumbuck, now in McLaren Vale, make Australia's favourite wool bedding products, proudly made right here in South Australia. Mini Jumbuck uses the finest Australian wool to handcraft their quilts, mattress toppers, pillows and more. If you're looking to improve your quality of sleep, start with a visit to Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale today. You'll find some great specials in store, along with fabulous gift ideas for adults and children, or to spoil yourself. Mini Jumbuck McLaren Vale, open 7 days, Australian made, Australian owned.
Okay, Raylene, if you smash a windscreen or side or back glass, you need to make one call, okay, and that is Complete Windscreens. They do cars, they do buses, trucks for over 40 years. This family-owned business, they've been leaders in the industry. It's price, quality and service all the way, and no one does it better than the Dean brothers, Hayden and Lindsay, who are Complete Windscreens, whether it's car tint, chip repair, calibrations and all your auto glass supply and fits on every car, make or model. They're just superb. The boys wholesale their glass in, hence the quality and the price. So tell your insurance company, Raylene, if you have a bingle with your glass, someone comes around and knocks the back, front or side in, or you get a little chip, you want to use Complete Windscreens on the job. Remember, you don't have to use your insurance company's windscreen repairer. You have a choice. So insist on Complete Windscreens. You deserve the best, and so does your car. Raylene, what sort of car you got?
A Ford Focus or something like that.
Yeah, 280 supplied and fitted. Visit CompleteWindscreens.com.au.
Hi, Susanna Toop here. 30 days. That's the average time a rental property stays vacant. But at Toop & Toop, we find tenants in half the time, saving landlords an average of $860 a year. Who are you trusting to look after your biggest investment? Toop.com.au.
A perfect getaway is all about the away. Away from the office and into nature. Away from walls and concrete and into lush green views. Away from food and into cuisine. Away from the rat race and into prime accommodation, a day spa and a round of golf. At Novotel Barossa Valley Resort, the perfect getaway is just a call away. Visit novatelbarossa.com today.
G'day, what you looking at? Shh. Be quiet. Oh, what you looking at?
Oh, well, isn't it obvious? It's remarkable. The detail and finish of Michelangelo with the raw beauty of Monet. I've never seen anything like it.
I have. I've got one at home. Driving it every day.
What? What do you mean? That's ridiculous.
It's an exposed aggregate driveway. Beautiful.
Right, who's the artist?
Adelaide Exposed Concrete. Best on ground all year round.
Scraped your caravan? Don't worry. Call Walker Crash Repairs, your RAA approved caravan crash repairer.
The 5AA Sports Show. Rowie and Timmy G.
Tim Ginniver days away, sitting in our rookie elevation. Raylene is here from Modbury North. Our Sixers are back on Friday night. They'll play the Entertainment Centre against the New Zealand Breakers. Tip-off 7 p.m. Tickets are available from Ticketek. These are the hottest tickets in town. We have a family pass to give away. It's time to play a quiz. Rowie, you get to be Elise Platt. And our Tony Barber is Raylene.
Okay, hello, Dallon.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Here's Raylene.
Hello, Dallin. Craig.
Hello, Raylene.
Hello, Craig Randall II was the 36ers top scorer on Friday night against the Kings. How many points did he score?
27.
Sorry, Dallon, not 27. Let's go to Andrew at St.
It's
Mary's.
between 20 and 30.
20 and 30.
Yeah, g'day, guys. I reckon it's 24.
Oh, Andrew.
You got it. How did you get that, Andrew?
Oh, I'm a big Sixers fan, so I saw the game the other night against the Kings, and yeah, good performance.
So you're going to go on Friday night, and are we going to win?
Yeah, I reckon we'll have a win.
We better have a win, otherwise they might get on my Hinkley list.
Well done, Andrew. Congratulations. We'll put you back to Sam. Family pass. Going to come your way.
You sound like you're a real proud South Australian. Do you like the Redbacks?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cricket's gone downhill a bit over the last few years, I reckon.
You love the 36ers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Adelaide United?
Not into soccer much, but,
Okay.
you know.
Okay. The Crows? You'd support them a little bit.
No. Sorry, Rowie, but,
Okay.
you know, I'm a Port supporter.
That's fair call. Yep. Fair call. What about the Diamonds? What's happening there with, you know, Hancock prospecting and not wearing the dress with the little logo on it and all that sort of political stuff, the wokeness of it all?
Well, I think that politics have got to stay out of sport.
Correct.
And it's got to stop. And also, everybody's got their opinion. They can do or think what they like. But if you get handed $15 million to support your sport or your club or whatever, don't knock it. Why knock it back? It's like if I got rang up to play and said, "Oh, you've won $15 million in lotto. Oh, I don't want the money. I'm sorry, because I don't believe in gambling." I don't think so. No. I don't think I'd be knocking back any dollars at the moment from anyone, anywhere in sport or whatever is offered to you.
Sounds like a good Facebook rant to me. Time for
The Last Shout.
There you go.
Well, mine's a bit lame. Wayne Rooney's 37th birthday today, and the only reason I say that, when he was about 16, I thought he was going to be the greatest player that God ever put on earth. He didn't get to Messi's level or Ronaldo's.
Close.
393 games for Man United. Didn't realise 183 goals. Superstar.
Yeah, highest goal scorer in the history of English
Wayne
representative
Rooney.
Football.
And I liked him because he was a little bit chubby. I like chubby people, Raylene.
Well, yeah, well, you know, I'm sort of in that
I'm not
vein.
throwing stones. You're
Now,
fine. You're
Raylene,
in your 70s,
your
Raylene.
last shout. You want to say hello to a couple of people listening?
I will say hello to my daughter and my grandkids and my sons, all the family. And I want to say shout out to the boys at Ross Trevor. I hope you're eating your meal, and please clean up your tables tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Do they roster doing the dishes?
Oh, no, that's me.
Yeah.
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
you're the dishy as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raylene, I've got a beautiful little bird in hand sparkling there for you, so you'll enjoy that.
You wouldn't want to see me if I had any of that. I'm telling you.
Oh, hello. Raylene will be anyone's.
I might drop a bit of Aperol in there and it's game on.
Don't leave that around the boarding house too. That'll be dangerous around there.
Raylene, lovely to see you again. Well done. Fantastic. And keep supporting Ken.
Yeah. Thanks for having me in.
What a star. Raylene from Modbury North, our rookie elevation. Another rookie tomorrow from 5:30, so tune in then. Stay tuned. Sports Day SA. And Blakey next.
The 5AA Sports Show with Rowie and Timmy G.
This week's half-price specials at Foodland. Allen's lolly bags, 150 to 200 grams.